Woo! This episode almost made me cry. Woo! Woo! Let me catch my composure. I literally just turned the camera off, finishing my reaction, and turning it on to give my review. So, this episode, she runs into the cannibals. This is episode 8. They entitled it, Enter the Troy Baker. Yes, Troy Baker. Troy Baker is in this episode. It's so funny because he plays, he voices Joel in the game, but he plays a really stoic character. He had like maybe 4 lines in the whole show. And I didn't recognize him until he met his end. I was like, hey! That's, like, if y'all watch my reaction, which will be up on YouTube memberships and Patreon shortly, after this is uploaded, you'll see, I'm like, as soon as she got him, I was like, hey! That's Troy Baker! There he is! So, in this episode, we get Hunter Ellie. We see the bunny, but the bunny don't get shot. And she's not using her bow and arrow, which is, I really did want to see that, but you know, that wasn't too, much of an issue. So, but we see the deer. So she gets a shot on the deer, and then of course she has to chase it. And they find the deer first, and then she finds them. So then they do their little bargain, But the show had opened up with the group, the cannibals, and the guy was running things like a creepy old pastor cult leader. It's funny, this is the reason why you guys haven't been seeing me play the game, because I'm so far ahead of the show. I'm waiting for the show to catch up, because I want to be able to compare. I don't know what they're going to do with the next episode. I mean, I guess they could flash forward and wrap it up, but maybe they'll make Season 2 more of, The Last of Us Part 1 game. Maybe they'll do that. You make more money that way. So anyway, yeah, the guy playing him is excellent. I was like, he's doing a really good job. Like, this is rather close. Except I would actually say he's more creepy. You knew something was off about the guy when she ran into him in the game. But here, he comes off more pervy and creepy immediately. Like, something's just not right with him. So, alright, so they barter for, the penicillin so she can take back to Joel. They take the deer. And, she runs into Joel and she doesn't know what to do. She's asking him, where do I put it? How do I inject this? What do I do? I know some of you guys have said that to girls. You'll learn eventually. So, so she puts it in. And I think she had to administer it twice. So anyway, they go looking for her. He lets the whole congregation know we found the girl that was with the man that killed our man, and we're going to track her down, and we're going to bring that man to justice. So when she figures out that they're coming for her, because she goes out and she sees birds flying, and birds will let you know when something is nearby. So she's like, Joel, listen. By the way, Joel is like 3/4 dead. Okay? He is 3/4 dead at this point. She's like, Joel, wake up! Wake up! And Joel's all like, he's just like this. Like, you can kind of see that his eyes are open just slightly. She's like, listen, there's some men coming. I'm going to lead them away. Here's a knife. Anybody comes in here, Kill him! So, I'm like, he ain't gonna do nothing. So she's off on the horse, just like in the game. By the way, this episode was very close to the game. The only thing pissing me off is they've left a lot of infected out. And I know that's a big issue with a lot of you. But I gotta say, y'all saw me. I walked in clapping. I loved this episode. I really did. But they've left so much infected out of this that it's irritating. Just out of the whole show. But anyway, they're making up for it in certain ways. I'm like, you know what I mean? But anyway. So they do the same thing. They shoot the horse, you know, she gets thrown off, they get her. And the men are left looking for Joel. And then one dude gets in the house, she had pushed over a bookcase or whatever, over the basement door that he was in. So, the guy, like, you know, and I didn't know if it was going to be a fake out or not, if he was going actually into the wrong house or whatever, but he gets down there, and I'm like, oh, there's the bed in there. And Joel, like, you know, like, you see him starting to move, and I'm like, and by the time the guy gets down the stairs, Joel is gone. And I'm like, what? There's no way his 3/4 dead ass moved that fast. That rhyme, don't hate to play the game. Bars! So, you know, the guy's, you know, of course he gets a knife to the neck bone. You know, so Joel gets him. And then you got the guys all, you know, did he get him to the neck bone? I think it was. He did something till he got him. Anyway, so then we get the interrogation. We actually get the interrogation. We got the two guys in there, and it went like, I think, mostly verbatim, like the game. Yo, but I don't remember hearing this in the game. Man, he put the knife in the dude's leg, and he, you know, asked him the question, and he said, you know, the whole, I will pop your kneecap off or whatever. And you hear him start to tear it off. Yo! If something like that was in the game, I feel like I would have remembered. But this made me remember. I can still hear it right now. I was like, ah! So, you know, it tells him to point to where it is, place is, and he points, and, you know, then he runs him through. Dude, F you, man! I can't say what I want to say. You know, this is YouTube. F you, man! He told you, man! So I know. I believed him. Or something like that. Whatever. So he took him out with the pipe. So we got this all knife. We got to see the pipe. So he goes looking for Ellie. And it kind of goes down similar. She's in the cage, and dude's negotiating with her, trying to get to know her and all this other stuff. And he's all, you're like me, and you've got leader capabilities, and you're this, and you're that, and trying to be your friend, and, you know, showing his pervy side. I was like, oh, he's almost trying to groom her for his new young wife or something. I'm like, it's a little different than what it was in the game, but it worked. I think we didn't get the whole, with all his, you know, so, no, wait, before I even get to that. So, you know, she does the whole, you know, she breaks his finger or whatever, and tell him Ellie's the one that broke your mother finger, or whatever. So then he comes back with the other dude, Troy Baker, this Mr. Stoic. It's just, that's funny that they did that. They didn't, you know, I'm sure he's had thousands of lines and other things, but he only gets like 5 lines in this episode. Ellie takes out Troy Baker after she bites dude and says, I'm infected, now you're infected. You know, so she gets out the door and he's shooting at her. And we didn't get the whole thing with his men after her. It's just him after her. I remember thinking it was funny and being extremely cringed out when you're her and you're trying to navigate through the town and stay away from those men, and the one dude, he's like, is that you, little girl? I was like, yeah, that's so damn creepy. Of course, you get to kill that dude in the game anyway. So I'm like, hey, at trap someone, you don't use that tone. You don't even say, hey, is that you? That sounds creepy. Say, hey, try it like this. Hey, we don't want to hurt you. We just want to work things out. Try that tone. You never say, hey, is that you, little girl? Don't do that. Jesus. So, she gets in the building, things is burning. She tried to throw some fireplace wood at him. And he's still trying to work things out. And he finally gets a hold of her. There's some really good acting because she really showed fear. Like, she really did really well, like, when she was bitten in the last episode. And she really did good here. Like, you know, like, it bothered me to see that. That's how you know the acting is good, when it takes you, like, when you of course, you know they're all acting, but it's like, you know, God, like, I see the fear in her and terror in her eyes, and he's all a little extra with this one, and the struggle's what I like, and all this other shit. And she got him. It wasn't a machete, it was a damn cleaver, a cartoon cleaver, and she was a chopping, and 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 a chopping. And nobody stopped her. So I'm like, okay, you're doing it different. But she gets out the door and she's all covered in blood and she's frantic. And then finally, Joel grabs her. And she's freaking out. And she's freaking out. And he turns her around. She's hitting him. And she's freaking out. And she's realizing, and this is what got me. I ain't even got no kids, but this got me. Woo! I'm not going to cry. He says something like, it's okay, baby girl. I got you, or something like that. I was like, oh! I was like, you are a man! Don't cry! Ah! Woo! Ha! Viking! Ah! I sucked the tears back up my eyes and I did not cry. But it was close. It was close. And they walked off together. This was a damn good episode. It got me in the feels. It was close to the game. It was well acted. It was well directed. But we ain't get no infected. That rhyme they played the game. Bars! So I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Woo! Absolutely stellar episode. I really, really liked this episode. But y'all pissing me off. I would have gave y'all 5 if we had got a scene with the infected like we did in the game. Y'all need to stop playing with this next season. I better see some more infected. Okay? I see you going for something different, and it's a reimagining. It's a retell. People that defend the retelling is a reimagining. It's a everything that they can to try to make you believe that everything's perfect like they do. That rhyme, don't hate to play the game, bars. But nevertheless, I absolutely love this episode. And it is what it is. Fight amongst yourselves in the comments, because I know you're going to be fighting amongst yourselves like y'all do in every single review that I do on this episode. So, loved it. Loved it. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all thought. If you enjoyed my reaction. I mean, my review and my reactions to this. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I don't know how they're going to end this next. I mean, because there's more to go. So, we'll see. Maybe they'll just flash forward, like I said. 2 million subscribers. Woo!